Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Wright, librarian, and I have 5 more fabulous recommendations for 5th graders. Of course, we know books really are for everyone, so if you're in 4th grade or 6th grade or somewhere else on the grade level spectrum, including an adult, you might still like these books. 5th grade is just a guideline. I want to start with this amazing book by Jacqueline Whitson called Locomotion. It's an older book and it's one of my favorites. You can see it's not very long. It's actually written in verse. So there are some free verse poems and some other poems that have specific forms. And the main character, Lonnie, who goes by Locomotion, has lost his parents in an accident. And his younger sister is adopted by a different family, and he's living with a foster family. So he's lost his entire family unit, and these poems are how he is working through and processing his new reality. So he can still go and visit his younger sister, but her foster mom is judgy against him. So it's a very stilted visit. It's not natural. It's not like it used to be. And of course, he wishes he could go back to his old life. He's got some friends and some who have some issues at school. And of course, his foster mother has her own life that is affecting his life. And it's just a fascinating book that deals with things like racism and classism and what it means to be a family and how you survive after something horrible. And it's beautifully written, and I love this book, and I hope you will too. The second book I want to share with you is called A Diamond in the Desert. It's written by Catherine Fitzmaurice, and it's historical fiction. The main character, Tetsu, loves baseball. He's 12, and he just wants to play for his baseball team. And then Pearl Harbor is bombed, and he's Japanese American, and Japanese Americans are rounded up and placed in these camps, and they aren't given any freedom. They have to give up their houses and their jobs and almost everything they have, and they're in these crowded camps indefinitely because people were suspicious of them. And so, of course, that's egregiously unfair. And it was really, really difficult. And this book shows what that might have been like for this character. And so while he's dealing with this crisis and he doesn't know where his father is, he's having to take care of his younger sister. And yet baseball is something that helps him get through this hard time. The next book is called Blended. It's written by Sharon Draper. And the main character, Isabella, is her dad is black and her mom is white. And her dad is remarried, and he and his wife have more money than her mom and her boyfriend. And so Isabella feels blended in terms of her identity and in terms of going back and forth between these houses because her mom and dad don't always get along. So she feels caught between them. And she's a really good piano player, and she's got some issues with friends at school. So it's bringing a lot of different elements together. And just how is she going to navigate all these different pieces of her life that are pretty common for lots of people who are dealing with who are they, how do they identify, what are their family lives like, and how do they get along with their friends. The next book is by Jason Reynolds, who's done some really great work for teen and YA audiences, and this is more of a middle grade series. This is part of the track series. So this one is called Ghost because his name is Castle Crenshaw, but he's known as Ghost because he runs so fast you can't even see him. And the other books in this series focus on different members of the track team. So this one is the first book because Ghost he kind of gets into some trouble, and it happens that a track coach sees him and says, hey, if you can straighten up and work hard and join this track team, then I'll help you out of this specific trouble that you're in. So he has to decide, you can't just have talent, you also have to have hard work. So when he gets there and sees the other members of the track team, he has to decide if this is something he's going to invest in and really work hard to do, or if it's not for him. So it's a great book, and I think you will like the whole rest of the series as well. And finally, this book by Barbara D is called Maybe He Just Likes You. And what I like about this book is it talks about an issue that people don't usually talk about, even though a lot of people have experienced it, unfortunately. So the main character's name is Mila, and she's starting seventh grade, and something starts happening, and she doesn't even know how to describe it. There are some boys who are saying some things to her, and they're like touching her shoulder or hugging her, and she doesn't like it. It feels really uncomfortable. But she really struggles to define it and describe it to people so she can get help to make it stop. So when she talks to the boys to say, hey, stop that, they say, hey, it's no big deal. She talks to her girlfriends about it, and they kind of act like, well, you like the attention, and they sort of blame her for what's happening to her. She doesn't really want to talk to her parents because she's not sure how to describe it, and she talks to a counselor, and so the answer is sort of, well, maybe he just likes you, he's trying to get your attention, and that's why he's acting that way. But she's so upset by all this that's happening that she stops enjoying playing band, and she stops wanting to go to school altogether. And so this book is doing a really good job talking about an issue that people unfortunately do really experience, and they don't know how to talk about it. So it's a good way to start that difficult conversation, and to recognize that it does matter, it is a big deal, and we need to do something about it. So I hope those books give you lots to think about, and that you find something wonderful to read today and tomorrow and all the days. Happy reading.